So I know my hair's awful. It's always awful. That's not why you follow me. What I want to talk to you today about is how you can work with your metabolism to help unlock your fat loss. So someone's just come in to start their accelerating. As you can see, they're burning around about 1470, 1450 at rest, which is a little bit lower than we'd expect or that we'd like. So it's going to be fairly challenging for her to lose weight. So the way that we use this number is that if we're going to create a calorie deficit, it either has to come from reducing the food, whereas coming off 1450, you can't really get much of a deficit from that, or do more activity. So for someone like that, she's going to have to do more activity. So that's why it's really important knowing this number. However, when we talk about understanding your metabolism, it's more than that, okay? And what I want to show you here, this is, apologies about the drawings, it should be better at A level art, is that when we think of metabolism, we think about these kind of four key pieces, really. So the main one is the RMR. So that's kind of what we're measuring here. And that typically accounts for about 65 to 70% of the overall calories that you're burning. So that's why it's so critical to understand this number. Now, although these tends to stay fairly stable, the only kind of real changes to this, if you lose a lot of weight, because MASH requires calories, but other than that, there's not going to be a huge difference. If you know this number, we can at least understand how much you need to eat to lose weight. Now, are there any things that can make sure that it's not going to drop? To an extent, yes. So the first one really is just kind of build muscle. So do strength training. I know that's writing really quickly, but if you do strength training, you can increase your muscle mass, and we typically see this is going to lead to an increase in RMR. The other one is don't diet aggressively, okay? So diet stupid. Again, you won't break your metabolism, but what we'll see is that the RMR will tend to follow suit. So if you drop your calories very low, we'll typically see a drop in your RMRs or how many calories you're burning at rest. I see this all the time with boxers. It's not a myth. See it all the time. However, it does bounce back to normal, so it's not something you need to worry about. And lastly as well, this is a little bit more anecdotal, is being fit, okay? People who tend to be fit have a higher RMR. So when I say work with your metabolism, what I mean is build muscle, don't diet stupid, and get fit. The next three things, first one is thermic effect of food, or how many calories you're going to burn when you eat. So when you're digesting, assimilating nutrients, it requires calories. And what we know is that certain foods require more calories to digest, like protein, okay? So protein, it takes around 30% more calories to digest compared to, say, simple sugars and even fatty acids as well. So this is the reason why when I say work with your metabolism, change the nutrients that you're eating, eat more protein, you're going to burn more calories digesting it. Hence why we say work with your thermic effective feeding. So that's another thing you can look at when we're working with your metabolism. Next one, NEAT. This is crazy. So if we look at some of the research, and I've shared this before, but the difference in the, so NEAT is how many calories you'll burn just from fidgeting, day-to-day activity without structured exercise. We see that there can be a variation of up to 2,000 calories of individuals with similar weight, similar age, similar size per day. And that's just from fidgeting, which is nuts. So this is the critical piece, okay? This is the real point. If we get the calories, which is fairly similar, you can make a huge difference in your weight loss efforts if you can increase this by steps. The other thing with this is this naturally drops when you reduce your calories, making it hard to lose weight. So I know I'm going through a lot of points here, but it's important to understand. If we drop our calories by, say, 500, you won't fidget as much. You won't burn as many calories whilst you're doing exercise, which is the reason why you need to make more of an effort to get your steps up, okay? 10,000 is a little bit arbitrary, but it's a good figure to start at, again, to ensure that you're hitting that number and we can still work towards that fat loss efforts. And the last one, probably the least important in terms of trying to burn calories, is physical activity, so going to the gym. I know some of you gym bros are going to hate me saying this, but when it comes to weight loss, nutrition, steps, that's going to be your king, okay? However, what we want to use physical activity for is, even though you're not going to burn many calories from it, you're talking, 200 to 500 calories a day, potentially, we're looking to use this to build muscle. So although we can use cardio to burn a hell of a lot of calories, let me rephrase that. We need to do a hell of a lot of cardio to burn some calories. Realistically, most people in my age category that I'm working with, so women over 40, aren't going to do that. So instead, this needs to be about building muscle, which is going to support the key part of your metabolism, which is this. So when I say work with your metabolism, this is what I mean. I hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions about your metabolism and how you want to lose weight, then just drop me a message.